The Samsung Galaxy A series is usually packed full of awesome goodies, from having an AMOLED screen up front all the way to the quad camera array on the back. But what about the latest device in the lineup of the Galaxy A series? This is Jonathan here for techENT, and this is our review of the Samsung Galaxy A71. We're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy A71, the latest addition to the growing Galaxy A series. Samsung's official price of 1,799 ringgit puts it at a few hundred ringgit less than its older, more capable siblings, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Lite and Galaxy S10 Lite. So this begs the question, is the Galaxy A71 really worth it in the light of the light versions of the S10 and Note 10? Let's start off with the hardware. When it comes to mid-tier smartphones, we're so used to making compromises. But just because the A71 is a mid-tier phone, doesn't mean that it doesn't come with the goods. The phone comes with an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 processor, paired with either 6GB or 8GB of RAM. This combination of a punchy processor and generous amount of RAM allows the phone to run smoothly. In fact, it was so smooth, I felt like I was using a phone with a top-of-the-line processor. Jumping back and forth between apps was a breeze, and there was hardly any hiccups. It also has 128GB of internal storage, which is decent, but if that's not enough, the A71 comes with support for a micro SD card to expand its storage. Phone calls on the A71 are pretty standard. I didn't get much problem during my time with the smartphone. The A71 gives you clear sound quality from its earpiece and speakers, while picking up sound clearly from two teeny tiny mics on the top and the bottom of the phone. But these days, most people don't even call one another anymore, unless it's an emergency. Even if we do call each other, we prefer video calls to make it more face-to-face. As for video calls, A71 would give the receiver of the call a much clearer video quality, mainly due to its new 32-megapixel selfie camera. While most of my video calls were used based on strong and stable Wi-Fi, but the 4G connectivity was able to handle video calls reasonably well too. When holding the A71 close up to my face, the other end of the call could also see the details of my face. In my case, my puffed nose and scarred cheeks due to pimple popping can be seen clear as day. However, the antenna on this phone struggles to get a good connection. In an area with expected weak connectivity, the phone could barely register any signal, leaving you stranded with no connectivity at all. However, other devices, including my daily driver, still manages to get some signal. Now, let's talk about the camera. I mean, cameras on the A71. The Samsung Galaxy A71 comes with a quad camera setup that has a 64-megapixel main sensor. This setup is a little dubious, particularly since Samsung has already stepped up its camera game by having a 48-megapixel sensor in the S10 Lite, but has retained the 12-megapixel main sensor for the S20. Even though the A71 has a bigger megapixel sensor, would it actually perform better or as good compared to its siblings? This does not make any sense, as the S10 and S20 are a tier above, which should be the ones with the better specifications. But does more megapixel means better quality? Wouldn't this also mean that the A71 would eat into the market share of Samsung's very own flagship? The A71 doesn't, not when you're taking the whole package into consideration. Up front, the Galaxy A71 comes with a single 32-megapixel camera, similar to many other Samsung phones. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves when it comes to pixels in the camera. The camera looks like it captures pictures really well at first glance, but after deeper inspection, the only reason pictures looks good is due to the color contrast where the colors pop. If you zoom into the pictures, the texture seems like it is blended and mixed together. The camera also picks up a lot of noise, giving the picture a very grainy look. This is quite disappointing, as there are phones with smaller megapixel sensor which performs way better. It also has a live focus mode, where it focuses on object and blurs out the background. It works well as long as the object is in focus and is large enough for the software to figure out between object and the background. You can also adjust the intensity of the background blur to give it a more realistic effect to it. The Samsung Galaxy A71 comes with a Super AMOLED Plus display. As with all other Super AMOLED Plus displays, the picture quality is crisp and sharp. However, my problem with the display is that it's way too bright. Using it in dark environments can be straining to the eyes even on the lowest brightness setting. And if you're like me, you tend to be blinded when you're on the phone in bed, turning it on first thing in the morning. The screen is 6.7 inches with an 87.2% screen to body ratio and 393 pixels per inch. The display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 3. This allowed the phone to hold up pretty well in my pocket, which is usually cramped with keys, keeping me worry-free from accidentally scratching the screen. The display has an irregular 20:9 aspect ratio, which makes watching videos a weird mix on the Galaxy A71. Most videos on YouTube are still at the aspect ratio of 16:9. This just means that you get a bigger black bars on top and bottom of the videos. Whereas most movies, on the other hand, would fit perfectly in the display, as most movies have a 21:9 aspect ratio, making the viewing experience a little bit more immersive. Gaming experience was smooth and I did not experience many hiccups. Together with the A71's large screen estate, the controls did not get in the way, which gives you a slight advantage as your stubby fingers won't end up blocking the screen while you desperately try to aim at your opponent. On the software side of things, it automatically places games into full screen or it blacks out the notification bar. I'm a little annoyed that I cannot choose if I want the game to take up the entire screen or have the notification bar blacked out, as it is automatically decided by the system itself. That said, I personally prefer the notification bar blacked out, as the camera punch hole doesn't interrupt the display, providing a more immersive experience. If you're gaming with your phone speakers, it should not be a problem as it is loud and clear. But during gaming, your hand placement might accidentally block the speakers with your index finger and muffle out the sound. So, keep that in mind, or use headphones with the 3.5mm jack for the best gaming experience. Yep, that's right, the phone comes with a 3.5mm headphone jack. Praise the jack lords! Headphone users rejoice! Now, you can have the most useful accessory back when you're gaming. The wires can get in the way of holding your phone, but it is still in an acceptable position as it does not strain your fingers to game. To keep your phone safe and secure and have the convenience of unlocking the phone easily, there are two biometric ways to unlock the phone. There is face recognition and fingerprint. The face recognition works really well, it unlocks within seconds after waking the phone. But the under-display fingerprint sensor, that's a different story. It doesn't perform as well as a physical mounted fingerprint sensor. It was slow and needed multiple tries before I could unlock the phone. Even the side-mounted fingerprint sensor on the newer budget phones performed better. Unfortunately, this meant I was more dependent on the facial recognition. The battery life on the phone is pretty decent. It can last you throughout the day with active use of 3 to 4 hours over a span of about 9 hours, and still leaves you about 15% battery life remaining. Now, I would say it's pretty decent for a phone with a 4500 mAh battery. And even if you're waking up in the morning with only 20% battery, there's no reason to worry. With 25W fast charging, the A71 can charge the phone up to full capacity in slightly over an hour. However, being a mid-tier phone, it does not come with wireless charging capabilities, and it charges with USB Type-C 2.0. The Galaxy A71 runs on Android 10 using Samsung's One UI 2.0. The phone runs smoothly and launches applications without any issue. In the past, One UI had issues with battery management, but this time around, Samsung has optimized One UI 2.0 so well, the battery performance barely took a hit. Now, just look and admire the phone. Almost all of Samsung phones looks the same. With Samsung's new design language, it all comes with the same bulky rectangular camera hub that is sticking out of its back, interrupting its sleek back design. But don't let the hub get the best of you. The back shell has its own unique design to it. It looks as if there are 6 prisms glued together, giving a unique look that reflects light just like a prism. The phone is priced at 1,799 ringgit, or in the US, 429.99, which I believe is a reasonable price for what it is, given that you're getting a pretty good processor, high megapixel camera, and Samsung's very own One UI 2.0. If you're not someone who needs all the power from the top-of-the-line processor, or a photographer who needs to take fast pictures on the move, this is the jack-of-all-trades phone that is made for the everyday Joe. A perfect daily driver that is affordable and gets the job done.